Hello everyone, welcome to the first tutorial of our spatial data mining lab. In the first tutorial, I'm gonna quickly help you set up your Python environment in your system so you can work on the next assignments on the with your Python notebooks. So as I mentioned, first I'm gonna let you know how you can install Anaconda, because Anaconda is a powerful tool for coding. It's a good platform. It's a bit easier to install because while you install Anaconda, it's itself install Python with some data science packages. It's easier to install, but it is not mandatory or necessary to necessarily use Anaconda. You can alternatively use Visual Studio Code if you feel more comfortable with Visual Studio Code. We have a short video on how to set up Visual Studio Code and Python as well. Or if you don't want to install anything in your system, you can use Google Colab Notebook, but you have to figure out yourself how you can use Google Colab and get familiar with that. Regardless of the platform you choose, ensure that you use code versioning and connect your work to GitHub, because through the commits and pushes that you do, we can track your progress, and actually that has point in your evaluation. So with that, let's first start to see how you can install Anaconda. So you can follow these instructions in the web page, but in order to just quickly show you, I will walk you through the process of installing Anaconda in this video as well. So if you simply search for Anaconda in the Google, you will see their main website, and you will see the free downloads bottom over here. By the way, I'm using Windows system, but there's not the great difference between Windows or Mac or Linux. Pretty much all of them are the same. You can follow these steps and then you're good. So you can sign up in the Anaconda. If you have Anaconda account is good, you can sign up or sign in for that, or you can simply provide your email, and you can then download the Anaconda. So it's like that, and then you can download for Windows, Mac, or Linux. I already downloaded the Anaconda installation file. We just have to simply follow the steps on the installation. It's not that much hard, we agree, and I just leave it to the default. You can change the path to installation destination folder, and just make sure you have around more than 5 GB of space in your computer so that you can install it successfully. And then again, you can just leave them to the default, because these are it can create shortcut on your desktop, and then it uses Python 3.12 by default. And then we just simply install it. It takes about, I don't know, a few minutes to install. All right, it is now completed. So I just simply click on next buttons, and then I let Anaconda launch Anaconda Navigator, which is a helpful graphical user interface that lets you work with different platforms while you are coding. So it takes a few seconds for Anaconda Navigator to be launched, and then we are good to go to write our first Python notebook code. Okay, this is the Navigator interface. For the first time, it will ask you to sign in if you want to get help of AI assistants. I will recommend you to sign in. You can sign up a free account, or if you already have an Anaconda account, you can just sign in and get the help from this AI assistants. I already have a free Anaconda account, and I just use my Gmail to sign in. And then you will see different platforms over here. It will have PyCharm or JupyterLab, Jupyter Notebooks. These are the different, or RStudio, different great tools for programming. Here I'm just gonna show you how you can run the first JupyterLab which we are gonna work with it. If you click on like launch button, after like a few seconds, maybe for the first time it takes a little longer because it's gonna like set up everything in your computer. When it's launched, you're gonna see an interface, probably something like this, which asks you to connect with like which Python, because we want to run our notebooks on Python, and by default it uses Python 3 version 3, and you will see the like Anaconda assistance like over here, which is basically something like maybe ChatGPT or something. You can get help from this part. Or sometimes instead of seeing like this interface, you go to the very main page. Like if I here run a new launcher, so maybe you will see this interface. This is basically the same environment. Here you can ask like to create a notebook based on Python version 3, and you have access to the terminal from here. And like you can launch terminal from here. Later on we will work with this terminal to write or git commands over here. But so far you will see by default it creates an untitled Jupyter notebook file with the extension of IPy1YNB for you. If you want to create a new file for yourself, you can create it from like here, or if you want to download your notebook from here to save it in your desktop, you can download it, or you can save it like in your desired folder. I just leave it as is, and you can see here there are some AI assistants as well. These sometimes are like handy. You can use ChatGPT or this AI assistant in combination together to help you like explain the code, or like add comments, or sometimes like debug your code. So by default, this is our first code block in Jupyter Notebook. The good thing is that we can have code blocks and we can have our text block as markdowns. For example, if I wanna create my first block of code with the famous like print hello world command, we can just simply write it here. And if you look at it, I'm clicking in this block of code and the type is code. We have three type of like blocks over here: code, markdown, and raw. Code is basically writing code, and markdown is when we are gonna like write some text along with our notebook, and raw is like for raw coding. It doesn't show like as a blocks. So here I can run my cell with this. When I click on the cell, I can run it with this bottom, or with the keyboard shortcut is like Control Enter. You can run your block of code. And here there are like a few other buttons like to restart the kernel. Sometimes when your program like your Jupyter might crash or something, you can pause the kernel, or you can restart the kernel. It will restart the whole thing. But so far we just run the code and it will show the results down the cell for me over here. So if I want to have the markdown as a like text base, I create you can see like we can create a new cell by clicking over here or clicking new cell over here. So I imagine that I have my new cell. I want it to be markdown. In markdown we have like certain like latex based texting. For example, with one hash we can have a header, and with like two hash we can have subheader. And if I run this cell, you can see this is my first header, bigger fonts, and then this is the second like subheader. And this is the basics of working with JupyterLab. And then later on you can save your Python notebook wherever you want in your desired folder. From the left panel you can choose your desired folder and then save your notebook. And I think this is it, and in the next video we're gonna see how we can connect this JupyterLab to our GitHub account, and how we can do code versioning.